Now, it is my singular honor to introduce to you and to bring to the stage my mayor, our mayor, the Honorable Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I am going to ask for a little bit of help today and ask the members of our team to join me on the stage. And I'll give them a cup. Come on, members of our team. Come on. I was given a list of our cabinet members who were here, and I realized that my list wasn't long enough because I saw just about every director in district government who joined me today to check on you. So I wanted them to join me here. Among the people that you see, you already heard from Thomas Bowen, who is the district's preacher. I bet you didn't know we had a preacher. But Thomas is the director of the Mayor's Office of Religious Affairs. Laura Zeilinger is here, who is the director of the Department of DHS, who many of the people you will be working with hand in hand work for the Department of Human Services. Our Fire Chief, Gregory Dean, our Director of Housing and Community Development. Thank you, Gregory, Chief. Polly Donaldson at DHCD, Lamont Aiken, who is the Director of the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs. Thank you, Lamont, for helping to put together this event. Kimberly Bassett, who is the Director of the Mayor's Office on Women's Policies and Initiatives. And all of the directors who are here, who I won't take more time to name, but they are at your tables, and they are here to make sure that we are delivering each and everything that we can for you. Let me start by saying how sorry I am that you have experienced this loss. And we recognize how significant a loss it is for anybody, and especially for you, because you have built decades and decades of experience right here in the district. And I'm sorry that those material things that go along with all of those decades you may not have access to. But I am so grateful that we have access to you, and that is the most important thing. I shared with some of you that some years ago, my parents experienced a significant fire at their home. And as I only lived about 5 minutes away from them, and my mom called me and told me the house was on fire, but she and my dad were out. And as I got in my car to go to them, I could hear the fire engines screaming to their house. And for some reason, I just got a sense of calm because I knew that they were out of the house and that they were safe. And then from that moment on, I would do all that I could to make sure that they could be as comfortable as possible, and we would work just as hard as we could to get them in a permanent, comfortable place again. And what I know now is that takes time. But if we have everybody working together towards the same goal, we can get it done. And so I am just really grateful for all of our agencies, our fire department and police department, and the United States Marine Corps who were there pronto. So let's give them a big round of applause. We are grateful, as I have said every day, to have Barracks Row and the Marines in our neighborhood. But I bet we'll really feel good about it today when you can see some Marines that sprint to your house to make sure that you're okay. And every single day, that's what our fire department does for us. And sometimes we don't think about fire and EMS until there's an emergency or until someone is sick. But I want you to know every single day that the chief and I and our whole team are thinking about making sure the fire department has everything they need in terms of equipment and training and our support. And we are grateful that they went into a burning building, significantly burning building, and helped you. So thank you to Fire and EMS. I also want to say a big thank you to all of Ward 6 and your neighbors who have been calling us and calling your council member, asking how they can help with monetary resources, with volunteer hours, with just some necessities that may be helpful to you now. And we are very grateful to their generosity as well. So let me just mention a couple of things that are very important about medical needs. I think you know, and I hope if you haven't or you still need help, you will let us know today, that we have prioritized your medical needs and have mobilized a special team of nurses and doctors to ensure that you have access to replacement medications, equipment, health care, and daily living to support your needs. Many Arthur Capper residents have received special medical needs assessment from our team of professionals, and our next step is to reconnect you to your primary care provider for your ongoing support. And starting October 1, primary care providers and staff will be on site to assist you with making follow-up appointments to receive primary care. And I want to pause there because you've been obviously through a trauma and you're very focused on your immediate needs. And we don't want you to forget and we don't want you to not stay in touch with your doctors. So just make sure you take the time to do that and make sure that you're taking the time to talk to your doctors too about the trauma you experienced. And I also want to, while we're talking about medical care, thank one of our medical partners who we asked on short notice to help us sponsor this lovely luncheon for you. It is a lovely luncheon, isn't it? And so let's thank our friends at Aetna Healthcare for their support. I also want to say a bit about permanent housing because I know that's on everyone's mind. Our teams from SERV DC to the Department of Human Resources to the Public Housing Authority and the Department of Parks and Recreation really worked at record speed to help accommodate you. In making Greenleaf, I know it's not easy for 160 people to be at a recreation center, but we did the very best that we could to accommodate you, but also find more appropriate housing for you almost within 24 hours in an appropriate hotel. So I want to thank all of our teams, DHS, DPR, and the Housing Authority who assisted with that. And immediately that week, I put together our teams from the Public Housing Authority, from DHCD, from Housing Finance, and from DHS to form a task force of sorts. And that focus of that task force is to look across the entire district to also your building owner's portfolio, the Public Housing Authority's portfolio, and any vacant unit that we are aware of to create a master list. And so we have been vetting that list for the appropriateness for units for you to look at. And so we continue to do that. And this week, your case managers should make it clear who your housing specialists are that you will work with to see units as they become available and begin to plan your move into a permanent unit. And that's what we're doing. The building owner is still assessing the building and what they need to do to bring the building back. Because I know what the next question you're going to ask me is, when can I go home to my home? And I don't know the answer to that today, but I will assure you that we will continue to work with them in making that information available to you when we have it. the first thing I ask many of you is, have you met with your case manager yet? And only one person so far told me no. And so we want, and if you don't know who your case manager is today or you haven't met with them, I want you to let a member of my staff know. It's one of these guys or somebody in a green shirt. And they will make sure that you are connected with your case manager today. And that's very important because they're trained to help you think through some of the next steps that you need to take so that we can get you back to some permanence. I mentioned it a little bit already, but I'm going to say it again because I know sometimes we don't ask for help when we're experiencing trauma or grief. And every person, no matter who you are, trauma and grief affects us in all kinds of ways, and trained professionals can help us with that trauma and grief. So I hope that if you're experiencing any particular immediate needs, that you'll reach out to case management, 911, or your primary care doctor to get the services that you need. Also, you probably have thought about it. I know many of you left without your basic things like your ID and all of those things that are going to help you connect to a lot of different services. And so I have also asked the DMV to make some special arrangements so that your IDs can be replaced. But again, your case manager will be able to give you all of that information. I also want to thank the members of the council who have been very supportive of us every step of the way. I already mentioned your council member, Charles Allen, who would be here, but I think he is chairing a hearing at the Wilson Building. Also with us, responding with the fire department was at-large council member. I call her the council member for housing, Anita Bond. So I want to thank you, Anita, for your service. So I know before Anita even asks us what's the status of housing, we're going to tell her. And she's going to help us follow that along with all of you. And also the government operations chair at the council and the Ward 4 council member, Brandon Todd, is here. Thank you for being here, Council Member Todd. And I'll say a special thank you to our young people at Eastern Senior High School. Did you see our young people? I didn't know what to expect, but we got a little concert, and they were fantastic. And I want to thank them. And one reason why we're here, in addition to show our appreciation to everybody who helped us, is to make sure that you can see each other. I know your neighbors and your sense of community has been disrupted, and I hope that you will get a chance to connect today. And we're going to hear from a couple of your neighbors. First, Trinette Chase, who I know how much she loves Arthur Capper in Southwest, and she's going to come up and greet us, followed by Dolores McMillan. So God keep you well, and we will see each other again soon. God bless you.